This is a demo of how a new customer for the flight tracker tool would enter in the necessary information for a monitoring plan. At this point, the flight tracker administrator has created a shell monitoring plan and created the new customer as a user of flight tracker. The user has logged in once before to change their password and is now logging in to start filling out their monitoring plan information. Please note that this tool, though close to beta, is still in development mode. For the sake of expediency, we'll be entering a small number of fields and then we'll use fully completed records for further demos. So let's start by logging into the application. The first thing you'll see is the Home tab. This is where you first land when you log in, and what you'll notice is that it's a tab-based system. So we're in the Home tab right now. There's also a Getting Started tab, which will have videos and getting started tips. There's a Monitoring Plans tab, which shows you any monitoring plans or plan as a user that belong to you. There's an Aircrafts tab, which will show all of the aircrafts that you've inputted. There's a Flights tab, which will show you all of the flights and what aircraft they're related to. And there's also an Airports tab, which will show you all of the airports that are in the airport database. Also, there are reports and dashboards, which are analytics, which we'll touch on later in another demo. On the left-hand side here, you'll see a search box. In here, you can search for anything in the system. You could, for example, search for Berlin and find all of the airports that fly in and out of Berlin, for example, that belong to Berlin. The recent items here on the left-hand side, these are the 10 last records that you've accessed. And then over here on the right-hand side, the first thing you'll see is a dashboard. Dashboards are graphical representations of reports at a summary level. So we'll get into these later when we go into the Dashboards tab. But for now, this gives you a quick snapshot of how you're doing as an operator. So we can put any kind of report here that's relevant for an operator who wants to see a quick snapshot of maybe their emissions, flight fuel usage, whatever that may be. Below that, we have My Tasks. My Tasks will give you the set of tasks that are assigned to you. The system, for example, will assign you a task to upload your fuel receipts for every flight that you enter. So you would see those over here. And then we have a calendar. So the calendar would be used, for example, for the administrator to put in important dates against the user's calendar, like submission deadlines to submit to the verifiers, for example. So now that we've gone through the Home tab, let's start by going to the Monitoring Plans tab. And in here, I'm just going to say, show me all monitoring plans. And we see that there are two monitoring plans right now. One is this version 1, which is a filled out monitoring plan, which I'll show in a later demo. We're going to go into a shell, and this is basically what a brand new user of Flight Tracker would see. They would see a shell monitoring plan with virtually no information, and this is what they would have to go into in order to fill in their information. So let's click into that. And you'll see here are all of the different fields that are relevant for a monitoring plan. Aircraft information is not here at this point. That gets added in separately, one aircraft at a time. But all of the other information that's relevant to a monitoring plan is in here. If we come back up to the top, you'll also see all the things that are related to this particular monitoring plan. At this point, there's not a lot related to it. We'll see there's only one here for monitoring plan history, and you'll see that this particular monitoring plan was created by Alf Keck on 3/28 or 1:38 p.m. And what this related list will show you over time is changes to any fields on this particular monitoring plan that have been deemed as important to track. So you'll see who changed it, when it was changed, and what was the old value and the new value. So let's take a quick enter in here and do an edit and maybe change a bit of data. So we might say the country of registration is United Kingdom, and we might actually put the version in here as 2. We could fill in lots of other information, but this time, for the sake of the demo, we're just going to move forward and save this record. So you'll notice that we saved the record now. The information is there. You'll also notice that if we go to the monitoring plan history, we'll see that those changes. We'll see that the Acme Flight Department changed version number to 2 and also changed country of registration to United Kingdom. So we can, if there had been an old value in here, it would also show you the previous value. So now we've entered in our header information. Let's pretend that all of the information has been filled in and we'd like to add some aircraft to this. So we can go to the aircraft section here. We'll see we have no aircraft, so we're going to go ahead and create a new aircraft. So here's an aircraft. We are going to fill in a little bit of information about that aircraft. Let's say maybe this is a Bombardier, and it's got a aircraft registration marking of C-John, and maybe it's a G5 and Global Express. Let's go ahead and save this without adding too much more information. And so what you'll see now is you'll see the aircraft information. You'll see that it's related to that particular monitoring plan that we were just looking at, so we can click right back into that. And then you'll also see that it itself has things that are related to it. There are notes and attachments in case you need to attach any particular documents. There's the aircraft history. We now see that it was created by the Acme Flight Department. And there are flights, which we haven't entered in any at this time. So this is the completion of this demo. The next demo will show how, once all of this information is actually filled in, we would submit this to the flight tracker administration team, which would look at all of the fields and make sure that everything's correct and either approve it or return it for more information, and once approved would send it to the actual member state. So we'll wrap this up now and move on to the next one.